Hello, all. I noticed that the lighting is not that good. I actually didn't mean to go live just this quick, but here I am. Hello, or so. Maybe have a little bit of a chat after. You have, I've seen a lot of stuff over the past 24, 48 hours. And I'll let you know about what I think is going on about, I guess, the inner circle or whatnot of Jeff. Before I say anything, before we get into it, I think that no matter what happened, not all of these inner circle people have bad intent. I think that it is not just likely, or not just possible, but likely that there are good people thinking that they're doing the right thing within Jeff's circle. So with that, we'll give it another moment or so. Hi, virtual. Hi, Anna. And hi, Chai. Hi, Jedi. You will see that I have some mods there, or some wrenches around there. They have been instructed not to be kicking or deleting or anything like that. And it's basically just so that we can share links on the little side live chat that I have. And I can give you a link to that too if you want to have a chat. To me, like, YouTube is really clamping down on comments and stuff now. But I can explain a couple things that I've seen that you guys get suspicious over when you see it on both Jeff's, and you'll see it happen on mine even. And I'll show you what that could be with the comment section and chat section. So before we do that, I'm going to give you a link. So this should work. I'm going to pin this. And please bear in mind that this computer, this hardware that I'm using at the moment, is absolutely terrible. So sometimes there's some slow movements, and I've been slow on a lot of stuff. Yeah, I think it's because I was moving around. So I'm just going to leave it as that. I won't be touching anything. And I think we're okay now. Just let me know if it's not buffering, and then I'm going to start from there on in. I would move the computer so it's not in all this crap. Look, my hand disappears. But I think I might even lose the feed if I don't. So can you guys get me now? Ah, yeah, it's lag on my end. This poor computer is not meant. It's not meant to do it. Okay, I just won't touch anything. I won't link anything, and then my computer won't burp. Okay, so first off with the comment sections. I do see multiple people have messaged me saying my comments can't be found in the thing or in my comment sections. So before, when there was all the craziness before I left or whatnot, there was a lot of people that were shilling on the account. I was trying to talk to people. I couldn't get a handle of it. So I locked down 5 years ago. I basically locked down the comment section and stuff like that. So I'm trying to remove all that stuff. I don't know if some people's messages getting lost are either a remnant of the channel not getting updated, or if it's like there's a part where I might have someone blocked on Google as opposed to YouTube or something like that. I know there has been a lot of changes over the past 5 years, stuff that I'm not used to. So be patient. I do see that there are some lost messages. There should be less than before because I've taken off a lot of the restrictions. So that should not be a problem, but I do see people losing messages. I see it by myself, and I don't know whether or not it's YouTube censorship or if it's something that I don't have done properly on my computer. So bear that in mind. I'm really worried that some mods are deleting comments on chats. My connection said it was unstable, so let's see if I can go. Okay, let's try it again. The chat sections, I've noticed that YouTube will automatically clear chat comment sections after a while. So like if you haven't been typing in it and you come back to it and you see only like 2 or 3 messages, chances are is that it was an automatic YouTube clear if that chat wasn't very active. Okay, so if you see people not messaging and there's only a couple messages in there, it doesn't necessarily mean that a mod deleted it. Okay, you see message deleted or message retracted, things like that. That can be a little bit more sketchy, but I do see a lot of people saying, oh, including myself, because I didn't understand. And I want to let you know if I was saying to anybody, you know, I saw like a cleared chat and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? So that is what is going on. I think YouTube is just clearing that stuff up. And yeah, Susan does not want to let you know. So that's the update on the comments. Just bear with me. I'll do what I can to make sure that you can discuss things as well as possible. And I have that chat pinned onto the live chat right now. If you want to jump in there and say hi after this, I'll be keeping that open for as long as possible. Now, the other thing, probably what you're actually here for, is my message to Jeff's mods. And before I say anything, before I give them the greeting, again, I don't think that it is profitable or wise to think that they're all in on some crime or something like that. You know what I mean? I think you can be part of this circle and not even know about how it works. I think that's a very possible thing. So there are a couple people who I have messaged who I think might not be who I think they are. But to those who I really have no doubts about not being genuine, I have a message for you. Hi, Antifa. It's obvious. It's absolutely obvious. Some of these guys that are covering up whatever happened with Jeff, they speak very politely. And listen, I know I don't have I know I'm not like, the macho wonder or anything like that. Okay. I know that there's times I might even sound feminine, but not compared to these guys. You're listening. Listen, I was watching a couple of these people that were talking. They immediately go to, you can't bother the family. You can't bother family, which, listen, don't go harassing Jeff's family. I'm not saying that. But I find it interesting how all these truthers, it's almost as if they were never here during their exact same talking points. There's no coincidence. There's no coincidence. I got a feeling, take one of those. Why don't we take one of the truthers, right? And then make them disappear. You don't have closure. And if you try, we're going to say that you're harassing families and you're not, and you're questioning the experts, right? I think that's what's going on. I think you have an infiltration for a long time. And many of the people that I'm thinking of could have been doing it for a very long time. And it makes sense to me. It came right after Occupy. This is when, I don't know if you guys were involved with Occupy, but I was. I went in through them. I was a socialist at one point, and I switched in around 2011, right after Occupy, because when I went there, I realized how useless it would be to have these people in power. And that's actually what started my journey to going to the right wing or whatever, truthers, whatever. The other side, they totally believed all that stuff, and they started networking together. So like half of my Facebook groups that I had before were these Occupy groups that had turned into Antifa groups. Because this was how it worked. So 2011, the Occupy, they all came together. They started networking, and then they had to find a way to get rid of the people who talk against them, because everybody was laughing at Occupy. Everybody was like, you guys don't know anything. You don't know the first thing about the economy. You don't know the first thing about anything, really. No geopolitics. You don't understand any of that. You're really good at blaming people, which is another thing. I'm gonna move this real quick. Sorry about the buffer. I'll give it a moment just so that the internet stops doing its thing. But it's quite obvious that when you see these people speaking so politely, so feminine, you can hear them. It's like, there's some people that realize that you shouldn't talk to the families, but some people don't. Like, they all do this within the first paragraph or the first 1 minute of their video, and it's very clear why they do that. That's their main message. They're trying to get you to shut up and basically do the exact same thing as you were fighting against 5 to 10 years ago. This is what the plan is. They're obviously press Tifa. It's so obvious. And again, not all of them, because they do come off very legit, and they can say things. They can say things that make them sound like truthers or right wingers, right? For example, our question. Well, I don't know if it's our question. It's not my question. But you notice how a lot of people that own the media tend to have the same couple last names. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Maybe it's not a coincidence. I don't tend to blame all of them for that. But normally it would be considered anti-Semitic to do anything like that. And these people abide by all this respect and say all these nice things, but they don't have a problem mentioning the little hats. They could talk about that. They don't really talk about BLM, right? I don't see much coverage on BLM, and I'm wondering why. Is it because you guys sound exactly like the reporters? Why weren't you covering BLM? You guys should go back to those live streams and see how fake a lot of these reporters were, the fake press. I call them press Tifa, and that's what I'm going to call these guys too. A lot of these channels, not all of them, again, but yeah, I think you got a press Tifa infiltration here. I think that's what's going on. You're gonna go, oh, bald covers. Yeah, so they don't talk about Islam, right? I mean, Islam. They like talking about the JQ, but I don't really remember anybody talking about Antifa being trained in Iran or anything like that, or being trained by Islam militants, which they are. At least some of the leaders are. And they don't talk about Cuba, Iran, all these kinds of things like that. They don't talk about China. That was one thing that I noticed about the Truther movement when I found out how involved China is with a lot of this stuff. I was like, man, that went right over our radars, and I think there's a reason for that. I think it's obvious right now. So yeah, hi press Tifa, I'm on to you. Anyways, I want to say hello to the chat. Apple Carts, I see, is new in. And Mountain Gal, good to see you. You're awake. Pirate Pete, if I missed anybody. So let me know what you think. Again, as I guess clue up the information that I'd like to pass out today, I want you all to bear in mind that not all of them are like that. So they come off as fake if you really look into them, but they need a genuine liaison, if you know what I mean. Okay, and this genuine liaison is likely very legit, and they need to control this person. And I think I know who that person is, and I think some of you do too. So that's why I say, please don't harass or target or anything like that, Jeff's family or anything like that, or these guys, because that could be what they want you to do too. Mr. Lopez 863. Yes, I knew Jeff. I worked with, well, worked. I did this stuff with Jeff from 2014 to 2015. So I know him pretty well. I met him once. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna say it now. He looks just like Dr. Mark Cleveland. Just like him. As in, not as in he is him, as in if you told me they were twins and I didn't know the age differences, yeah. Like I was worried. I was worried about, since it's been 5 years, maybe there was going to be too much that I would remember about his appearance. So I was worried about that when I saw a picture, right? And when people were sending me pictures, I was like, all I know is that that's not what I remember. Like I've seen people give out ones of like little people and everything, and that's not the case. But when I saw Dr. Marks, that's got to be his brother. Todd looks a little bit like him. Mark, he's the spitting image of Mark. And I remember him talking about a professor brother, very smart, very, very smart guy. Didn't really agree with us, but a smart guy. I will make another video about what I think is happening. I don't think Jeff is I don't think he's dead. I think the most plausible explanation is that he was taken to the woodshed. He was offered silver or lead, and he made the decision to not get killed. That's what I'm thinking is happening. And I think that's much more plausible that had happened, although he could have been killed, due to the way that I'm seeing his inner circle act. I don't think they're giving you the full truth. I think that they're intentionally hiding it for a reason. That reason could be different for one person in the circle as it would be for the next. One reason could be purely out of nobility and protection. The other reason would be to profit off of withholding that information and becoming kind of a key holder of sorts. So I don't think it's like they're all in on it per se. Although they may all know that what they are telling you is not the full truth. Okay? There are noble reasons. You would, for example, when they all say, you don't want to bother the family. They're pushing that out onto you all the time. They're probably saying it within their own circle to reinforce that mentality that it is imperative to protect Jeff's status, whatever that may be, whatever happened. I don't think he died due to a health problem. I think that the Antifa, what I think to be the Antifa faction, are a bunch of bad liars. And I think that shows very well when someone asked about the coroner's relationship, how he went to the hospital for a migraine, left, and then died. That doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No tests, no nothing. No, nothing. And it's almost like the story changed if you listen to this video that I'm talking about. I'm sure that one of the mods might be able to throw on that video. It was about 2 minutes long. It was an interview with one of his inner circle, High Press Tifa. And he talked about how real Jeff was and all that stuff, right? So he was giving you these platitudes. But I don't think he was able to even hold the story for 2 minutes. I think it's no. It doesn't add up. And I think they were realizing that a lot of people were saying that the story that they had received doesn't add up. And they were trying to add this in to well, silence maybe the end game, but to reinforce their narrative. And in doing so, their Antifa is just so unintelligent that they made it worse on themselves. Okay. I mean, these guys don't believe the basic laws of supply and demand. I mean, like they're not the brightest tools in the shed, okay? Like they tried to lie and they got when they got caught on it, they all started running away. That's what happened. That's what happened. That's why they stopped talking about it last week, and they started saying, you know, you can't talk to the families. You can't talk to the families. It's all very obvious. There may be one or two of them that they're worried about telling the truth, and those people should not be attacked, or you shouldn't just assume the worst of some of these people. In fact, you should assume the best. You should assume that out of all of these people, this person is most likely the most intelligent and the most perceptive and the most willing to tell the truth. So I recommend going to that person and letting them know how much you value them, because they are of a value to themselves, to this movement, and to the truth. Don't hurt these people. Antifa always wants to play the martyr, so they want you to attack them. What they can't tolerate is ridicule. I can take all the ridicule you want. You want to call me Bigfoot? That's fine. You can say whatever you want, but these guys can't handle it. I'll tell you right now. And that might be your best weapon. I think I have covered everything that I needed to. Trying to keep these short, but let's chat. Let's chat. Yeah, they're trying to throw you down a weasel hole. They have set up a narrative that has kept you with a feeling that there's been no closure, and they want you to go crazy. That's like what they really want you to do. That's like the bonus, you know what I mean? If they've done a really good job, you have turned into a bunch of lone wolves and acted weird, you know, done stupid things like that. That's they would love if they did. I bet you there's some bonus salaries being paid if that happens. But I would say that the main goal is to keep you away from releasing the information on things like what happened at the Capitol, the election problems. They don't want you talking about BLM. They don't want you to talk about Press Tifa. They don't want you to talk about they don't want you talking about China. They don't want you talking about the Jesuits. They don't want you talking about any of this kind of stuff. And especially at this moment, okay? And I can't stress this enough. I think I got to make another video on this. I left this movement because I thought it was, hear me out, okay? I left this movement because I thought it was a waste of my time at the time. I still believe that I was right, and I'll tell you why. That term that I keep saying, plausible deniability, was what they always had behind them, okay? They always had this behind them. No matter what you said, they could just say, oh, you're just trying to hurt their family, right? You are you're someone that just won't accept the experts. You won't accept the gatekeepers, right? You're doing the exact same thing as, you know, they're saying to you the exact same thing as the mainstream was telling Jeff himself and all of us in 2012 with the coroner, Wayne Carver, right? They're talking about, oh, the phone call will be here any day now. The video recording will be released any day now. Come on now. Come on now. At least Wayne Carver gave us a speech. At least Wayne Carver gave it a speech. I got a lot more respect for Wayne Carver now than I do these guys. Yeah. I kind of forget what I was just talking about before that, but now I'm just on a ramble mode. So, do you guys have any questions? Anything like that? I'd like to chat with you. I don't mean to keep rushing off, you know, real quick. I just want to keep these a little bit shorter than. Maybe we'll do like a 3-hour chat or something if I get. You know, there's 35 people in here. Hello. I'm glad that it's spreading to enough. Oh yeah, the plausible deniability thing I was just talking about. So that whole plausible deniability thing, they can plausibly deny everything that you've ever told them, and they can reinforce that by shaming you. That was their plan for these 8 years. Now they're doing it to you. But on the mainstream side, with the media, nobody trusts them anymore. Okay, and in fact, the term that I had used, that plausible deniability, I'd been using that for 5 years. With the Hunter laptop thing, with Tony Bobulinski, he mentioned that very term, which I stood up and danced at the at my vindication. He was saying that Jim Biden would continue to do money laundering in the Ukraine, and no one would catch them because they have plausible deniability. You're a crazy conspiracy theorist if you believe that, right? Well, that's gone now. They've shattered. Over half of America believes that this was a false election. I don't know if it was or not, YouTube. But I will tell you that over half of America believes that this was false. They are waking up to a lot of other things, and they need the truthers that have been dealing with this and have been hit with this for almost a decade. And Antifa wants to steal it from you. That's what's going on there, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's go into this. Wayne Carver, that was the term. Magnificent thing. Like, probably the lag is probably stopping me from impersonating him that well, but I remember that. That was amazing. This magnificent thing. See how they throw the emotions at you? You might see one of the inner circle's eulogies of him, and you will see no specifics. You will see it start with, you need to respect privacy, and they'll sell you emotions, right? Do I talk about cats? Hold on a second. This little bro. Hello, YouTube. Don't ban me. Don't ban me, please. Don't ban me. Did that work? All right. So let me just double check everybody here. If there's any questions I missed. How old am I? I guess you could figure that information out on your own, but yeah. Okay, I'll tell you. No, I'm 32. Yeah, black cats are the best. By the way, I have read that black cats have the gene that makes them black, right? Because they're not actually black, apparently. Like, their fur is supposed to be a color, but it gets overridden by the gene that makes them black. Apparently, apparently that gene also stops them from getting or they're more resistant to respiratory syndromes, which are really bad for cats. And this little dude, man, he was the only one that survived out of his whole litter. He was a feral, and they found him. And he was a little tiny guy, and he had a bad cough, but he got over it. Strong kitty. Strong kitty. Yeah, when it comes to cats, I'm a massive racist. I do believe that black cats are superior. How old was Jeff? I'm going to say that he had at least 5 years on me. He was probably entering his early 30s or early 40s at this point. So. Maybe I'm wise in some ways. Maybe I'm unwise in others. For the people in the chat, I have not seen a picture of Jeff online. I have not been able to verify any photos of Jeff online. but you can send them here, and I'll take a look at them, and I will give you my honest truth. Christian, I think that you may not, you may never know whether he was alive or not. Personally, I think that he is alive, but I think that the theory that I just gave to you about the reactions as well could be explained that he was killed. I just think that the inner circle would have been more aggressive in finding the information and much better off in giving it to you. They would have been a lot more honest with you because there would have been no real need to cause extra doubt that would end up in the family being contacted more than they would need to be. They're not giving you any proof whatsoever, and they're not giving you that closure. I think it's set up in a way so that they want you to try and, find his house, go over to his house and check on him. I think that is kind of what they want you to get into, which is, in my opinion, the wrong thing to do. I don't think you need a police sketch artist for Jesus, Lord and Savior. I think you can look at Dr. Mark. It's a public photo on Concordia University, and you can basically picture Jeff as, at least when I saw him 5 years ago, as a slightly less healthy version of him. You don't even need a sketch artist. I'm telling you, when I saw that picture, I was like, this is far closer to than what I could have ever hoped to recall from my mind. Just his brother alone. Yes, Jeff did not look healthy. He wasn't fat. Like I say this to a lot of people. Sorry if it's repeating. He wasn't fat. I'm not saying he's obese. I'm saying that he just did not look healthy. In his complexion, he had a beer belly. Just he didn't look like awful, but he does not look as well put together as Dr. Mark. I know I'm missing a question. I'm sorry. I saw it here somewhere. What is Occupy? Occupy is the longer term for it was called Occupy Wall Street, and it happened in, I don't know, August or September of 2011. It was they say it was in reaction to the bailout of the banks and the collapse of the economy, even though it happened 3 years after that happened. So, in my opinion, Wall Street, while looking like this grassroots movement that was against people taking advantage of the government, it quickly revealed its true self to be an anti-capitalist movement that had heavy strains on anti-Semitism and communism, essentially. Because it became very quick. Like, the longer I stayed there, the more I was whisked by these organizers who were very linked to the New Democratic Party in Canada. And I will say that CUPE, a big Canadian union, would visit us and donate to us, and some Anglican pastors or whatever they're called, chaplains or whatever, they would also visit us at this Occupy site. But once a week, maybe twice a week, one of these groups would have this event or lecture or teaching that they would invite us all to go to. Okay. And I remember specifically one of them was BDS, which is Boycott, Divest, and Sanction. This is a Palestinian movement, and basically they want Israel gone. So I just found it really interesting that was brought up at that time. But now when you look into BLM in these major cities, they're all pushing BDS as well. It's like they all have the same agenda that they're pushing onto you. They don't mind talking about the little hats, right? And I don't mind talking about them either. I don't think that they're the head kingpins, or at least if they are, um, I think it's one of many, right? I think that it's a distraction to try and get you to solely be anti-Semitic. Have I ever considered being a pastor, running your own church? I have considered opening or starting a church online, and I decided against it. One being that I'm unqualified to be a pastor. Two being I don't think online fellowship replaces the real deal. Dr. Jeff out of Concordia. I think you know the city last name. Oh no. Let's give it a moment. Let me know if the buffering is bad. This hardware is only temporary. I do have a better computer. I just don't have access to it right now. Concordia. Dr. Lopez. When do I think cryptocurrency will take over Canadian paper currency? I don't know if we have any. I don't know if we can say for sure. We don't know what's in store even. I don't know if Trudeau's going to remain in power for much longer. Would it switch to cryptocurrency? I don't know. Maybe we got to get away from the Fed, but what's best for us is not necessarily what Canadian politicians are going to do, considering someone's channel name was correct when they say China. Sorry, I think it's because I'm moving around and like kind of squirming around a bit, and this laptop is. The link that's the link that I put up is for you guys to chat in a place in which there are no suspicious mods of Jeff's. That's why. I think you guys deserve a place to talk about it without being controlled. There's some people with wrenches in there, but they've been told not to do any moderative functions. They're just given that so that they can post links. And if you're in there enough, I'll throw that at you as well. I just want to make sure that, if I were to give everybody a wrench, what would happen. Press Tifa would come in and start dropping their CP. I don't know if you've looked up Hunter Biden. It's quite interesting, by the way. I don't know if any Press Tifa is watching now, but I will take a little shit on you. Excuse my language. You're not very good at taking criticism, and it's quite obvious. It's quite obvious. Everywhere you go, you're criticized and shamed, and you can't handle it. This is going to be a fun few days. But yeah, isn't it interesting with Antifa that I don't know if you looked into the whole Kenosha thing that was going on, but yeah, those Antifa boys, two of them have some charges for fooling around with minors. So isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? So if Antifa's here, I can't just give everyone a wrench because you know how much they love their children pictures. It's a shame that he would do this with thousands of followers. Really not cool. He could be dead. I'm not saying for sure that he isn't because I can't confirm it. If he's not, which I tend to believe he isn't, you got to put this into perspective. I mean, maybe he went to the store and he had someone approach him. And are you sure that you're ready for that to happen to you? You may think you are. It's a lot easier to say it. And Jeff liked to say it a lot. And I think that was an overcompensation of sorts. And that this was my worry from the beginning when I left. It's that when this time came, it wasn't beyond him to create an illusion. Do you remember the beginning of the We'll Do It Live song? It was just an illusion. Um, did Jeff have a wife and kids? No, I don't think so. Personally, I don't think he has the ability to maintain personal, close relationships with non-family members. That would be my reasoning behind that. He could have a kid, but I doubt it. Yeah, so this is the thing with all these channels and truth channels and stuff. Sorry, that's going to buffer. I know. A lot of these truth channels can tell you one thing behind a camera or no camera, right? Because when I'm here, I can control my element. I have far more control of my element than what I would if I were to be speaking in a group of how many people are here or whatever in real life. You know, I can be a lot braver to say things that maybe I wouldn't, right? And I think that's the case with a lot of these people. They may not be able to maintain personal relationships in real life. This is kind of a refuge. They're able to control and shape and mold their image as for the most part as they can see fit compared to real life. They don't have to show their face. They can disappear and keep you wondering. Yeah, I think that there's a lot more of these people than you think in this movement. It is a good song, "Illusion by Imagination." Yes, I agree. If anybody tried to ask a question and I missed it, go ahead and repost it because I think I'm up on all the questions, but I'm likely wrong. Yeah, I wouldn't go trust like. Here's the other thing too. Just as I was saying, how there are likely legitimate and good and kind people in his circle, it is just as, if not far more likely, that there are those, and this is why I think he's not dead. Okay, if he was dead, this would be a great story to cover, expose everything. Aneurysms? What are you talking about? Aneurysm? What are you talking about there? Hospital talking about an aneurysm? Is this like all the Republicans that just died of a brain aneurysm a couple weeks ago? Is this the same thing? Why aren't they? Why isn't this part of it? Why aren't they talking about the similarities to what's going on? And to that reason, I think it's because that this whole thing is not the whole truth. They know it. Some of the people might not know it, but these guys know it. And they also know they now have the key, right? So they can milk this for all it's worth. And I think there's that as well. They don't have to be good people to want to protect Jeff. they could see profit in it. But again, I'm going to say it over and over and over. I strongly believe specifically that there's one that needs to be treated well. They all need to be treated well, but for the reason that there's one of them that has the conscience to come out and say what she knows. I can just, my spidey senses. I'm not going to say the name. I shouldn't. Hey, I could be wrong. It could be one of the guys. So for those that can see it, look for yourself. I don't want to go pointing towards one person or anything like that. If you think you know who it is, let them know how much you appreciate them. Let them know how much you value their ability, their potential ability to tell you the truth. I might start cluing up for now because I think that this was a really important video and I don't want it to go over an hour. I know what it's like. Well, to fellow man, while I'm not there to witness lying, I always found it interesting how truth, I just call him Red Pill. That's what I'm going to call him. He made some questionable decisions for someone who we think is an expert on false events. I will be back. Yes, Christian. I don't think that I'll be like staying for years or anything, provided the world doesn't end. I don't think that I'll be staying indefinitely, but I will be here for as long as it takes that something gets blown out of the water. So I'm not going to just disappear. I'll let you know when I'm going. I'll post something at least. And I think that should pretty much cover this. If there's no other, I'm just quickly going through the. Well, Jeff, yes, Jeff is dangerous. Someone just mentioned they needed Jeff gone, and I agree with that. Despite all the faults that I see in him, they needed Jeff gone. Okay, the reason being is that they've lost plausible deniability, and they're causing mass exoduses. what is the plural for exodus? Exoduses to different platforms, at which if Jeff got onto it and he wasn't censored, ooh boy, oh boy, oh boy, that's a can of worms that the mainstream media wouldn't want you to open, regardless of who I think he truly was. I think that he would have been a legitimate threat to the mainstream's narrative. Okay, so I think I'm going to clue this up here now. I am not on any other platforms. However, you can find me on that chat. I may open up other platforms because I know that there's a purge ongoing at this moment. And maybe I'll get like an IRC or something like that going, like something that probably won't be taken down. And I want to thank you all for coming. Chrissy Tokyo, just to let you know, is okay. I think she just, like myself, she stepped back from the movement. And while I feel led to, I guess, come back and help give you guys some closure, I think that we all know that what everyone is experiencing right now in and outside of this movement is a lot of troubled times ahead, and she needs to figure that out. I that's what I'm getting. So I'm sure she wouldn't mind, saying hi to her. Go say hi to her if you like, but try not to bug her too much. That's my guess. Have I ever been on Brax? I don't know what that is. Sorry. All right, guys. I think this is good to go. So I want to thank all of you for coming. If you would like to continue chatting, I will be in that chat. I'll be a few minutes, but I will be there for in and out for most of the day, actually, and I'll be keeping that chat room up for as long as possible. Even when I'm gone, I'll keep that up, even just so you guys, have somewhere to go, because I don't think that you are allowed to have this conversation where they want to keep you. Got it? So I'm trying to break that for you. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Read your Bibles. Do it now. Do it now. I'm not wise. Everyone was saying that I'm wise. No. I got all of this from the Bible. The fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom. I'm not wise. Read your Bibles.